and spoke. One thing that is just to me as an organizer, I'm an organizer with Vote, where we center impacted people, but also what I'm seeing on the ground is that it's not apathy. And all of you guys have mentioned that. It is the mistrust with the student. It is, wrote it down, it's the confusion when it comes to the language. It is also the trust that we lose when the system doesn't consistently meet people where they're at. I myself, and thank you, Sharon, for sharing that, came to this country as a refugee 25 years ago, and during my undergrad, I became a citizen. And I also noticed that, yeah, the barriers were there, but it's not until I got into organization like Vote, organization like Lori, to learn about civic engagement because I felt seen in that space. And with Vote, 2 years ago, an organizer, chased me down to register to vote. I gave her the runaround for like a year. But one thing that was different is that she came to every community event. Every World Refugee Day, she was there. Even my own family event, she would come and have tea with my mom. And eventually, we all registered to vote. But one thing that strengthened my organizing and being in certain spaces, and also with Vote, like when we go into EBR Parish Prison, there's certain places people are not comfortable going in, but we do that every last Wednesday of the month to register people to vote. And when they see Mr. Checo, they feel seen. And so I just wanted to say that everything that everyone has mentioned, it just solidified that it's not just apathy. And just like Dr. Eugene mentioned and added to the list, if we wanted participation to increase, it has to be easy for everyone. When even it comes to language access, it has to go beyond Spanish. Because when we go into EBR Parish Prison, we have interpreters, but we don't have a wall of speakers. And that's also barriers. And it gives me confidence, even my impacted family who have gone through incarceration are happy that they're seen and they're able to vote despite the fear that they had. And so I just really want to say thank you guys for mentioning that. We all are saying the same thing, but I think more than ever, we just all need to work together instead of like doing the same thing in silos. And so, yeah, just really wanted to share that. So thank y'all.
I would like to,
as an organizer, this is just going out, giving people pamphlets and information about voting rights. It's just not, it shouldn't be like a one-time campaign thing. And just even hearing what everyone had to say today, just want to leave people with that. Equitable voting policy starts in community, but it doesn't just stop there. It's an everyday thing. It's just not when I think one of the student mentioned it shouldn't be like a campaign or politicized thing during voting. But yeah, so if we're going to do that, we need to center community. We need to center the people that we don't get to see or people who don't speak our languages to get that equitable voting for people to vote. So I just want to leave people with that.
Listening to all of this, I kind of feel kind of old now. I turned 80 last year, so I came up in an era that my grandparents and my father was fighting for the same damn thing that I'm fighting for today. Mm-hmm. And it makes no sense. Here we are, 60 years ago with the Voting Rights Act, and here we are still trying to encourage people to get out and go not only register and then go vote. The work that I do, my name is Checo Yancey. I'm the policy director with Vote. And I tell people all the time, get engaged. Because all the young people that have listened to earlier, I applaud them. But Representative Lyons can tell you I'm down here at the Capitol every day because that's where the laws are made. You have to be engaged. You have to talk to your legislator. I have my legislator, my senator, I can call them. And I tell people, make them your personal friend because they want you to be their friend when they come and ask you for your vote. Know your vote. Know who you're voting for. And my boss, Norris Henderson, he says elections has consequences. We're seeing those damn consequences right now. We are seeing them today. And we need to get engaged. People have to find out, what does the Secretary of State do? What does the DA do? What does the sheriff do? What does the assessor do? The clerk of court do? What does my legislator do? What does my senator do? What is a congressman? And people have to get engaged because it starts at home. My grandparents, their thing was, I saw them dress up to go vote. As Sherry said, pumps to the polls. You know, it was a pleasure to go and vote because black folks had to struggle to get their voting rights. And hey, women, it wasn't until 1920 that you had an opportunity to go vote too. Mm-hmm. So let's don't get it twisted. Let's understand that you have to stay engaged. And if you don't get engaged, I talk about these things often at my church, at the dinner table, at social clubs, whatever we're doing. We have to get involved and not just know somebody's knocking on my door, somebody's calling and asking me for my vote. I'm a former incarcerated person. I spent 20 years in Angola. I've been out now 22 years, and Representative Pat Smith for 5 years for formerly incarcerated people to get their voting rights. And I have my voting rights back now. You know, on your phone, you can put the Secretary of State Go Vote app on your phone, and it can tell you who represents you. You need to know who represents you. It's like a hand in the glove. You know, when you're coming down and they're asking you, you know, I'm sitting in the back of the foyer in the Capitol when we're in session, and I'm looking at my legislator, I'm looking at other legislators, and guess what? They be huddling up. Like football, huddle up. And I call one, hey man, what y'all huddling about? Because it does affect me. Not only my taxes, but it affects everything in the community of what can be done, what can't be done. Now you can tint your windows. Now you can't talk to your phone on it. You know, all these laws are made here in this building. This is not the governor's building. This is the people's house. This is the people's house. And when we come here, we say, whose house? Our house. And people have to get engaged. I'm glad to see these young people there from Dillard and all of these universities, Southern, that we go and help people register. I go into the prison and the jail. Well, I mean, not prison, into the jail. Don't want nobody to take that. Those people that are pretrial detainees that get arrested and it's election time, guess what? They've not lost their vote. They've not lost that opportunity to vote, but the Secretary of State can make that very hard. They can make that very difficult. The sheriff can make it very difficult. The same sheriff that came and asked you for his vote, what is he doing to help people? How many of you know they took civics out of the schools? When I went to schools, you learned about the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch. Would you believe now that we're living in a time that the executive branch now is telling the legislative branch what to do and the judicial branch what to do? I don't think that's quite right. But again, election has consequences. And again, it starts at home. You have to get engaged. This is something that we do year round, not just election time. And I think that's the problem sometimes. I will call Representative Lyons in a minute and ask him, hey man, what the heck going on? And I'm looking for an answer, and he's not my representative. But I know somebody living in the district, and if he's not doing his job, guess what? It's time for him to go. But he's been doing a great job because he engages with people. You know, when I see Ashley, Ashley gets tired of me calling her sometimes. But the thing about it is we are doing work. When you see Sara, when you see the vote staff, I see Ivy back here and our staff, we are engaged with people. Do we get it right all the time? No. There's some people I voted for that I wish I had not voted for. But those things happen. That's why you get to know who you vote for. You know, I'm so glad to see that we can get a new strategy together to engage young people. Because guess what? Young people are the future. You ain't gonna be around all the time. So these young people, hey, they have to get engaged and understand that you make a difference. And by the way, young people, I'm an old man. I can remember grandmama making gravy in a black skillet, not in the microwave. It takes time for things to happen. You know, because my elected official cannot get a bill done, that means that the community didn't get in the back of him, didn't support, didn't send enough letters, didn't engage. You don't have to come to the Capitol all the time. You can send letters. I hear representatives say, I got 5 emails, and that's what my constituents want. Well, your constituents are not 5 people. But if you don't get engaged, young people, if you don't understand that it takes time to get things moved. When they pass a law down here, it doesn't even go to effect until later on. It doesn't affect right away. So understand the difference between the executive branch, the judicial branch, and the legislative branch. I think these things need to come back into the high schools. Really, I took civics in 8th grade because they were trying to teach you about how it works in real life. Because you've been around mom and daddy gone. I mean, you know, you about to get on your own. So guess what? You need to understand, where's my taxes going? I didn't know what FICA was until somebody explained it to me. Who is this taking something out of my check? What is Social Security? What are all these things? And young people, stay engaged. Stay engaged and understand. Come to the Capitol. Go to City Hall. Go to your police jury meetings. These are where these people are making the rules, and you voted for these people. What does the mayor do? What does the councilman do? What district do you live in? Do you know your city councilman? Do you know your police juror? Have your sheriff ever came to you and said, let me talk to you except about how to prevent crime? The sheriff does other things. He collects taxes, civil fines, all of these things. What does a judge do? Besides put someone in jail that you done read on TV and did something wrong, and now they're in jail. But guess what? The judge has a responsibility to interpret the laws. All of these things, ladies and gentlemen, are important. And I'm glad that we are doing voter engagement, that we can get engaged and get educated. And again, know your vote. Because I come and tell you, I can suggest to vote for candidate John Doe, but you need to educate yourself on John Doe. Because guess what? Jane Doe may be better. But if you don't educate yourself, and you can come back and tell me, you know what, I really looked at that. Did you know that Jane Doe is different from John Doe because Jane is looking to help the community. John is trying to help his buddies. That makes a big difference because guess what? When you see the governor and all these contracts that go out, have they come to your community? Have you seen any of your people get in those contracts? but he asked you for your vote. So know your vote, ladies and gentlemen, and hey, this is a good opportunity for me to try to wrap it up. And I want you to know we can achieve what we're looking for, and that's to get people get engaged in the community, go, and yeah, it takes time. It takes time out of your day and your evening, and you've been working all day. I go to meetings all the time, and hey, guess what? You learn what's going on. It's not all on TikTok. You have to sometimes sit down and get engaged and sacrifice. And guess what? Stay engaged year round. And guess what? I'm hoping that we're listening to these young folks. And once again, they are the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Checo. I have a question about, can you clarify the law? Because many people think that because they're formerly incarcerated that they cannot vote, but that is not true here in the state of Louisiana. And so can you clarify the rules for formerly incarcerated people to engage in?
Formerly incarcerated people, if you are out of prison and you've been out 5 years, you can get your voting rights back. And if you're not on paper anything and have not been sentenced, you can get register to vote, and guess what? My number is 225-270-5245. If you need to know more information, you can go to our website, Voters Organized to Educate, a voice of the experience, which acronym is VOTE. But learn if you need to know more information. It's very easy because go to the website. And even we had to fight. It's crazy that you would ask that, Ashley. We had to fight the Secretary of State to actually put that on the website so people could see that. Again, that's why I said when you elect the Secretary of State, the Secretary of State is making all these barriers and everything that people can't do this, can't do all of that. But guess what? You can vote. What is her name? What's her name? I forgot her name, but.
Nancy Landry.
Oh, Nancy. Okay, see, y'all know. Landry. See what I'm saying? You got to know who your secretary. I knew the name was, okay? But the thing about it is they make these rules and regulations, and guess what? If you come down here to the Capitol and sit at these tables, you can voice your opinion and let them know that's not what I want. I want it to be plain. I want it to be simple. And yes, former incarcerated people can register to vote, and we're doing those things. And guess what? Right now, there's over 70,000 people that's eligible to register. And you know what I was telling Sara the other week there? Sometimes I get tired of going and begging people to register. And then I got to call them back and beg them to go vote. Makes no sense, but guess what? I do it every day.
Yeah.
I do it every day. But yes, former incarcerated people can vote, and that was former State Representative Pat Smith. Talked to Pat the other day. Took her 5 years to do that. Mm-hmm. Because the committees up here and elected officials, they wanted to take my tax money, but they didn't want me to vote. So I said, hey, that sounds like taxation without representation. So yes, former incarcerated people can vote. And I think Ivy, she just stepped out. She's a former incarcerated person, and guess what? She registered and she votes in every election. And I don't miss an election.
Yeah, no, Checo calls me every election day.
Thank y'all.
And in fact, not even election day, because he early votes on the first day.
Oh yeah, I early voted. And guess what? That's what I get upset with people about this. Elections, and I gotta go to the football game. You got 6 days to go early vote. And guess what? Go early vote, then you don't have to worry about it. Suppose someone in your family gets sick on election day, and the more important thing is your child. But guess what? If you've early voted, you've taken care of your responsibility. Thank you, Ashley.
No, thank you so much. And I wanted to just note the recommendation that I think is really important about defining the word partisan in the statute.
Yes.
And getting some clarity so that folks that want to do voter registration aren't being barred from participation, because there's a misunderstanding depending on where you are in the state about what partisan means.
Yeah, I noticed that in other states, that organizations don't seem to have as much problems accessing high school students or accessing high school campuses to try and register people to vote. And it just, I'm not trying to be, critical of the legislature. You do something, you don't know what a ramification's going to be until it's been in effect for a while. But that to me is a problem. It's too amorphous.
Yeah,
And,
clarity. Yeah, no, that's super, super helpful.
I'd like to add this. Paul did a great job in about most folks don't realize if you're an independent voter, you might be out of luck for voting, until you understand what's going on. But Paul did a great job, and I think the League of Women Voters, they did a great job, and the information that they sent out about independent, is no more independent party now. People need to understand that, that this legislator changed that. That's who did that. And if you don't come and get engaged, then guess what? You be lost, and that's your official, and you don't even realize, I'd have lost my vote.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of changes with closed primaries and a lot of education that needs to happen. And I wanted to also give Rep. Lyons a chance to speak because he's been a warrior for high school voter education and fought for a long time. So certainly want to yield the mic.
Well, I think to answer your question, well, not answer your question, but just to comment on what you just said about the legislature. And I think it sums up his introduction as to why we here are different in Louisiana than other states in that regard. All the measures that you're referencing, we've addressed, attempted to address them in many different ways. And oftentimes, it's kind of like, I want to score a touchdown, but they only give me the first down. So you have to take sometimes what you can get to get some of those things that are there, but that's some of the the environment that we work in.
Believe me, I'm not criticizing you. I understand that you can't let the perfect spoil the good, and as part of a negotiated process, that I can get this, but I can't get this, and am I making an improvement if I do it this way?
Yes.
So I'm going to do it this way.
Yes.
Believe me, I've been there, done that.
But I just wanted to say that particular piece because, around that area, we know how important it is, registration to vote. We know how important it is for young people to get engaged. We know how important it is to give information out and have people make decisions. But it go back to what I said early on about some of the discourse that's there, and the young people brought it out earlier. Oftentimes, the truth is not always up front. Oftentimes, you're dealing with that portion because just like your organization and many others, they're registering people to vote, but the untruth is that you're not going to school to get people to register to vote for a certain candidate or register to sign up for a certain party at certain times. But this is the messaging sometimes that we have to get through, which enables us to either get to the table but prevents us from getting through to where we need to get people in conditions like that. So
I'd like to give you kudos right now, what you're saying about the work that you do in trying to, why is it that they move the goalposts every time to score the touchdown?
Well, we might be in here the rest of the night talking about that,
But think about that. I mean, every session we come down here.
But it happens. That's all part of the environment that we're in now. The most important part, as I see it, is every time there's time to run a play, I stand up and run a play.
And you run it.
So the goalpost can move as much as it wants. I'm not going to stop working. So we have to continue to work.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for your voice.
Thank you, guys.